Hello guys, and welcome back to yet another Call of Duty video. Now this is a follow-on from yesterday's video that I uploaded about IGN being paid to sort of just shit talk, if you like, the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Don't know if it's true, just speculations, but I want to go a bit more into detail in this video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of not be reacting to this interview, but I'm going to kind of explain a little bit more as to why I think that is. I'm going to just jump straight in. Some of you guys have probably already seen this video. It's on IGN's channel. It's titled Call of Duty Modern Warfare is the most diverse game of E3 2019. Guys, the response is fucking hilarious. 17,000 dislikes on this video. 2,000 likes. If you go back to that, the percentage is fucking brilliant. It's got an 11% like to dislike ratio. I've never seen a video apart from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's trailer with that bad of a response to it, but that is absolutely hilarious. So guys, I'm just going to get straight into this video and do a little bit more sort of in-depth as to why I think that these guys are definitely being paid to just shit talk Call of Duty. I'm not sure whether this is to boost media, make more people talk about it, but let's just see. So I'll pause it throughout and sort of explain my thoughts on it. So yeah, let's do it.
At IGN, we're a bunch of different people with a bunch of different preferences, thoughts. We're
It's
individuals.
At least personally, I feel like I don't necessarily want to play 15 to 20 hours of what I was just shown.
It's very
Is that this fat dude here? This fat dude right here. This guy right here. I don't know. He looks a bit like I don't know. I don't even know. He looks a bit like a frog of some sort. But him, just I don't know if I'd want to play. I don't know if I'd want to play 15 to 20 hours of something like that. Just listen to the voice in it. It's just a joke.
Like I don't necessarily want to play 15 to 20 hours of what I was just shown.
That's actually the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. Now, this guy right here, yeah, I'm gonna guess he's about I'm gonna guess around about 25, 26 maybe. And him, right there, would be at his prime when Call of Duty Modern Warfare was brought out, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was brought out. I bet you any money Donnie plays them games right there. And I'm telling you right now, this is the biggest load of rubbish I have ever had to witness, ever had to listen to in my life. Like, genuinely. Let's carry on.
Want to play 15 to 20
Next part's
hours
interesting
of
as
what
well.
I was just shown.
It's very jarring, and I found myself feeling extremely uncomfortable during the demo.
Right now, man like Sydney over here, right? Man like Sydney who's calling the game jarring, yeah? I don't know if any of you guys watch it, but it's called The Daily Fix. It's on Snapchat. It gives you sort of gaming news and whatnot that's happened during the week. Now, when Call of Duty Modern Warfare was first announced, she is actually the one to present The Daily Fix. Now, when I first watched that, I remember her going, oh yeah, we've seen this game already behind closed doors. It looks amazing. It looks really fun. It looks really awesome. So why, Sydney? Why have you suddenly changed your tune?
Uncomfortable during the demo.
If they get it right, it's going to be one of the most memorable and probably best Call of
A man
Duties
like Beaky
ever
over here
in
knows
this
what he's talking
annual
about.
long-running series.
I hope the game isn't 10 hours of that sort of feel, because that would be very intense and ultimately not very fun.
See, now this guy's face is like almost as red as the microphone. So I'm not really going to listen to much that he's saying because I can't really be bothered, to be honest, to listen to him, to be vaguely honest with you. I mean, he's just chatting absolute rubbish.
It is extremely visceral. It is extremely unsettling. But in spite of all of that, or maybe because of that, I mean, it's my game of the show.
The rules have changed. There's a fine line between right and wrong.
There's essentially a terror attack in London. Spoilers, by the way. There's a terror attack.
Spoilers, by the way. Bro, man like James Duggan, right? We know that there's a terrorist attack in London from the fucking trailer, man. Everyone who's watching this has seen the trailer. One, because you've just shown it as fucking background of the video. and 2, because if anyone who is watching this has probably watched any other YouTuber's video and heard them say that there's a terrorist attack in London during that video, like it's not a spoiler. I think even one of the interviews, one of the guys from Infinity Ward actually said that as well. So no, man, like James, it's not a spoiler.
Back in London, your cell, Captain Price, Sergeant Garrick, who I believe is the protagonist, the character you play as, take a small covert SWAT-style team.
Tier 1 operators.
Tier 1 operators. To do a breach and clear of this terror cell in this house.
A townhouse, yeah. So
right.
It's real narrow, and it's just like 4 floors.
Yeah, it's a terraced house in North London.
So
I'm
it should
from
be.
North London, so I can assure you that it looked very accurate. They even have
Just twat in the background. The amount of times I've seen this video, I've never really just noticed this. Look at this guy in the background. Ready? Look at it. Ready?
assure you that it looked very accurate. They even had the correct train on the train line, which was very.
That's impressive.
It is one of the most visually impressive games I've seen.
Yeah, the attention
it does look
to detail.
beautiful.
I think the most jarring part is that, of course, this isn't
Right, this woman here, I don't know whether she's outright stupid, never played Call of Duty before, or is genuinely just being paid to chat the utmost bollocks. But me personally, and I think anyone else who actually watches this and has reacted to this can see straight through her, because this is fucking ridiculous. Just hear out what she's got to say. This is genuinely fucking stupid.
jarring part is that, of course, this is in London, and you're crawling through this house. I mean, crawling. You're stealth walking through this house with many people, many teams, many guns. You got your night vision goggles. Like, you're all suited up.
What does this woman want? Like, I'm not being funny, right? Genuinely, if she's not being paid for this, I genuinely really want to know. What do you want out of a Call of Duty game? Do you want fucking My Little Pony or like fucking Fortnite dances of dabbing and shit? I'm not being funny. Has this bitch ever played Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty World at War? Has she never played any of that with people getting their fucking arms blown off and legs blown off and everything else? Like, it's just, I genuinely makes me angry, but let's carry on. Now, this next bit is the fucking funniest thing you'll ever hear, right? So this genuinely leads me to believe that they are genuinely being paid to say this. This next bit here.
But you're going into a civilian house, essentially. And
Right, you're going into a civilian house, essentially, right? Remember that.
granted, they are terrorists.
Granted, they are terrorists. Hang on a minute. let me just say that. You are going into a civilian house. Granted, they are terrorists. Civilian house, terrorists, doesn't really go into the same sentence properly. So, I don't know what her name is. I don't know, whatever. Is it a civilian house? Or is it a terrorist house? Has she ever seen Zero Dark 30? Right.
But it's still weird.
On a technical level,
It's still weird. Genuinely, it's still weird. Apparently. Right, let's carry on.
I thought they were doing some really interesting things. You know, adding in some new mechanics that
This guy looks like he's about to
will
cry.
make gunplay, will make the game itself a lot more interesting.
It reminded me of Mile High Club in the sense that there's, you're weaving your way through. There are a lot of people at very tricky angles.
Yeah.
There are non-combatants.
Yes.
And the line between non-combatant and combatant is every single level is explored to a greater degree.
Yes.
I think from a provocative sense, you start off, there are female combatants. There are female combatants being used as human shields that then grab a gun and try and shoot you.
Whether there are
Right, so now we're talking sexist. If I'm getting this right, take this with a pinch of salt. So what he's saying there, I didn't really understand most of the crap he was talking about because he was talking posh. But from what I was gathering, he was talking about women being grabbed and then them grabbing a gun and shooting someone. So that doesn't outlie real war, no? That doesn't actually happen, no? Or are they just scared to... Okay, whatever. Let's carry on.
are innocents involved or not. You have to kind of make that call as you go through.
And you're trying to do it as quietly as possible to not alert everyone else in the house.
Yeah,
and
because everyone has guns.
Yeah, everyone in this house has an AK-47 under their bed. It looks like.
Yeah, well, you would be if you're fucking terrorist and you're wanted. Of course, you're gonna have a fucking AK-47 under your bed. Like, oh my god, I genuinely just can't. This actually gives me a fucking headache.
Like they were incorporating some Rainbow Six kind of style things where you can shoot through doors, you can shoot through walls, you can peer around corners.
You've got the lean mechanic, which is really nice.
And enemies have that too. They'll pop their head around, and if you're quick enough, you can nail.
It's unfortunate though, because like these mechanics are super interesting. Like they make combat a little bit more tactical. They give you a lot more options. Like the fact that at least in this particular demo, like the environments were very destructible. That's all super interesting, but then it puts those mechanics at odds with itself, making you so uncomfortable to the point.
I'm not being funny. I know that most of you guys who are watching this have probably already seen videos on and reactions to this, but like, what do these guys want war or whatnot to feel like? Like, if you're gonna make a game that's a war simulator, surely you're gonna want it to feel as realistic as possible. Like, I know personally to me, if I was to create a game and go out of my way to create something like that I wanted to kind of make feel as if it was like war, like it's rated 18 or rated R or M, I think in America, correct me down in the comments, for a reason. Like, it's rated that, it's got that age rating on there for the reason that you have to be a mature age to play this game. So I don't understand why they're talking as if this is some sort of like genuinely really like almost as if it's like an age 12 rated game, and then it's this kind of stuff. Like that would be a completely different story if they were saying, yeah, this is for kids kind of thing, we want kids to enjoy this game, and then it was coming out with war and fucking explosions and blowing people's heads off and shit like that. Like it's just silly. Like it really is. It doesn't make much sense to me.
Where like I at least personally, I feel like I don't necessarily want to play 15 to 20 hours of what I was just shown.
While you are going into a moral gray area, like that's exactly what it is. It is a morally ambiguous area. Your enemies are no longer wearing uniforms that denote that, like, it's not black and white anymore.
Also where some of the difficulty in...
Again, let's go back to what Sydney's saying about your enemies not wearing uniform. Like, if you were to go out to a real life war, not all your enemies are gonna have, who have guns and who are out to kill you, are gonna have uniform on. Like, that's just how war is, like, full stop. Like, this is why they've made it, and they called it Call of Duty Modern Warfare, because it's meant to sort of portray what modern warfare is now, rather than back in like whenever like Black Ops 1 was set. But like nowadays, not everyone is like dressed up in like a military uniform who's got a gun or whatnot. Like, if anything, the terrorist attacks that have happened recently have all been by people who haven't been wearing any sort of uniform, and that's what's going to make the game special, and that's what's going to make the game feel more kind of like real and put players into that kind of place where yes, you will feel uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, like, you're not meant to feel comfortable in war. You're always meant to kind of, it's meant to be like seat gripping, like edge of the seat kind of feel. But I don't know.
Oh, it looks so beautiful and so realistic. So when I have to then shoot these people, it looks like you're shooting, like, whether they're terrorists.
What does this twat want, My Little
Infinity
Pony?
Ward is intentionally pushing buttons on this, and that's a risky thing to do. But and maybe they'll fall flat on their face, and this game's going to end up being offensive to anyone who's served in the military.
Surely it would be more offensive to people who served in the military if the game wasn't an accurate representation of Call of Duty, of actual war. Surely that would be more offensive than, because you're basically then saying like, oh no, this is not what you're actually like, this is what you should be like. and you're trying to portray a false. It just doesn't make much sense.
I don't know. That is entirely possible. If they get it right, and they remember this game's being headed by a couple of former leads from Naughty Dog, you know, so there's a pedigree there. If they get it right,
I don't know whether that was a pun. My guy just said this is being ran by a couple of guys from Naughty Dog. That's a little pedigree there. I don't know whether that was like a pun that he tried to put in, but that was absolutely fucking terrible. Like, behave.
It's going to be one of the most memorable and probably best Call of Duties ever in this.
This guy looks really angry.
Long-running
He
series.
looks really angry.
I mean, I think it's really important to remember this was a demo. It was taken out of context, but in the context that they showed it to us, I felt uncomfortable, and it felt. I mean, I don't know. It just felt so real, and I know that's what they were going for. But I don't know. You can speak to this, but just like. That these are real life scenarios.
Right, and so the whole thing that Infinity Ward is going for is like these are instances taken out of the headlines, right? And when you approach that, it has to be done with such care.
Yep.
And the demo we saw wasn't really given that care because, of course, we don't have the context. We don't have anyone saying, hey, this is where we're at so far, why it's okay for us just to go into the house and shoot everybody in there instead of taking them prisoner, except for like 2 people. And it's not very clear, and so it was just very jarring because of that.
Well, at one point, they break into a room, and you train your gun on the person who's in there, and it's a woman, and she's running to a crib, and she picks up a baby, and you're like, what do you do there?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're a good person, you don't shoot the baby.
We never really saw the consequences of any choices, how differently this mission could have gone. Yeah. What happens if you hadn't shot out that light? What happens if you do accidentally kill the woman and her child? Does the mission end? Does it change the story of the game at all?
Yeah, we don't know, and I think that's the biggest question for me, is seeing out like whether there is a lot of choice that impacts the story, or if it is very much a story they intend to tell in a certain way.
If there is some kind of choice that you can make in the game, that wasn't in the demo.
Right,
that we saw.
So I think that would be if the headline coming out of the Modern Warfare reboot or reimagining, whatever you want to call it, if the headline coming out of this was you can play this game non-lethally, I think that would have. If that had been tacked onto the end of that demo, like that would have really changed my opinion of it.
I think it's how this moral system pays off, if there is any element of choice, and the story they're trying to tell. Is it just a realistic, gritty story that I read on the news every day? Because that's not a game I want to play, really.
For now, the gameplay that I saw, I'm with you. I thought it was compelling, it was interesting, and I'm already more interested in the Call of Duty campaign than I have been in years. And I know that's like a backhanded compliment at this point, but it's actually true. It's
true for me as well.
Very interested in what's going on with this game.
I'm looking forward to seeing more, to see what the whole game is. I don't know if it'll be fun, but it's doing something different, so I'm giving it that at least.
Is that okay for video games to do? I think absolutely. I think it's a medium to tell stories. I hope that Call of Duty tread the line between being respectful, and I hope their intentions are altruistic here. I want to see more. Frankly.
Me too.
We'll see. Again, open-minded. I'm excited to see the multiplayer.
I just want to see multiplayer.
Yes.
Like, that's what we love.
That's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys kind of get the gist of it. Like, it almost seems as if it's like being kind of they're almost being paid to backstab Call of Duty almost. Maybe that's a Call of Duty advertising campaign. Maybe it's to kind of help people see both sides of it. Maybe it's to almost so Call of Duty don't get as much hate in the media because they feel like a gaming company's already covered it and it's already been covered, so they don't need to cover it again. I don't know. There's plenty of different reasons that they could have done this. I might be wrong, I might be right. As I say, take it as a pinch of salt, but what I personally think is that most of the stuff that was said in that interview, in terms of I don't want to play this game because it's too I just think that is the biggest pile of crap that I've ever heard. But I don't know, guys. I'm guessing we will have to just see sort of what Call of Duty have for it. We already know that we're getting some censored gameplay already, which is quite upsetting, to be honest. But what can you do? Yeah, as I say, it should be a fun game. Hopefully we're going to get some multiplayer footage soon, and maybe some campaign gameplay and some Spec Ops gameplay. I will be covering some more of this stuff on the channel, guys. But if you have enjoyed this video, please leave your opinions down in the comments below. And as I say, if you've enjoyed it, smash a like on the video if you agree and enjoyed the video. Much appreciated. It helps me out. But yeah, so guys, I guess I will see you in my next video in a bit.